back to Backyard Phenomena. What episode number are we on now? 4?
We're on 4.
Number 4.
Episode 4.
So, what news do we got to tell the listeners?
Yeah, so a couple things. One is I think we're going to switch to audio only.
No more videos.
No more videos.
All right,
I don't
girls.
think anyone.
You don't get.
I don't think anyone.
We are already
really,
taken. We had enough.
We're taken.
We had
married.
enough. We had enough messages from you guys. We've decided to set it off. You can't see us no more. It's over.
I know. It's like we're the Beatles. Yeah. So audio only. At least probably for the somewhat long term. And I think I always like podcasts as just an audio medium.
Yeah.
So
I do too. And I always feel obligated to watch the video when there's video. And
right.
And yeah. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Just don't like it.
Yeah. So audio only. Next thing on the docket is
Zach's decided to take a vacation.
I'll be on vacation. So we will miss a week. What week is it? The second week of July, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
So not the July 4th week, but the following week, on the radio we'll have a
replay.
Repeat.
Yeah. It'll probably be this one twice if I had to guess.
Okay.
But otherwise, you'll just have to wait a week for Spotify or YouTube.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And in the future, I think we'll be able to avoid this, but we're so new into doing this that, we just decided it was better to just skip a week.
Yeah. So all good.
All right. Good.
Let's move right along into the headline. I say this week of the week. Are you ready for this one?
Of the week.
It's another creepy one, okay?
Oh, creepy.
A robot gets a face of living skin that allows it to smile.
No. I'm already out.
Yeah.
This is too creepy.
Yeah, the uncanny feat is the result of new technology using engineered living skin tissue.
Ooh.
And human-like ligaments to give robots a more natural smile, according to Tokyo University researchers who unveiled their work this week. So this is brand new. This is this week. This is happening.
Yuck.
Okay, according to the researcher, Shoji Takachi, I'm sure I said that wrong.
Perfect.
In this study, we managed to replicate human appearance to some extent by creating a face with the same surface material and structure as humans. That's the scientist's way of saying they put human skin on a robot. In the process, he added, we identified new challenges such as the necessity for surface wrinkles and thicker epidermis to achieve more human-like appearance. Go ahead.
Couldn't they just use the same stuff they use for audio animatronics? Like why did they have to use human skin? That's what makes it so creepy.
This is the reason why. The approach promises to make robots more lifelike, and in the future, the researchers say similar techniques could also be used on humans in the cosmetic and plastic surgery industry. The reason why this is because the skin is not connected to any sort of robotics. The skin is moving on its own, like a muscle.
Like a muscle?
Yeah, it's not, there's nothing pulling on the skin to make it move. It's telling, the robot is telling the skin like a brain to move, and it smiles or whatever, I guess. Yeah.
Yuck.
So,
here's
the other creepy thing. Here's the other creepy thing.
Okay.
I don't think it ages.
Okay.
The same laboratory, this scientist, I'm not going to say his name again, previously engineered skin that can heal, created small robots with biological muscle tissue, and 3D printed lab-grown meat. Says in his latest work on the living skin has a string of potential next steps. So now they're going to take this skin that can move and use the self-healing skin to put on the robot. So, when the robot falls and, cuts itself, it will then, there's tiny microscopic robots in this new developed skin that will heal itself, just like how our bodies will. So,
didn't anyone ever watch Terminator?
Well, yeah, they did, and that's why they're the evil scientists have decided to go ahead and go with it.
Ugh. So this is yikes.
And I'll send you
Skynet, right?
Yeah, I'll send you this because there's a video, a small little GIF of the robot of the skin, and it shows it smiling. I don't think I
want to see it.
I'm going to send it to you anyways, and you'll see it moving. Just like laying on it's like laying on a petri dish thing, and it's just a slab of skin, and it has two eyeballs on it, and it's smiling.
I don't want to see that. That's something to like haunt your dreams.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is.
Yuck.
But yeah, there's the one and only headline this week.
Well, that one, how can you follow that?
Yeah, I couldn't find anything better after reading that one. So, yeah.
Yuck.
There are your headlines of the week.
Yeah. Okay then. Well, I went in a different direction, so no segue from that into what I'm doing.
Sometimes it locks in, sometimes it don't.
But speaking of walking,
see, we did segue.
I'm gonna go with two actually Sasquatch stories.
All right.
Reason why is I thought we might talk about a movie we both watched, and what happens in that movie is going to be directly related to these stories.
Oh, good. Okay.
So a lot of times people are always talking about Sasquatch being peaceful and that sort of thing, maybe unless provoked.
Yeah.
So I tried to find some stories that had some more aggressive Bigfoot.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. So
because I've never heard of a aggressive Sasquatch story, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, other than that, that one that we.
But they really didn't hurt him, either. Besides him trying to leave, I guess. But
yeah,
otherwise they left him alone.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you're right. Okay. Well, first one. We're gonna save the best for last.
All right.
But first one here. So this was June 18th, so summertime in 1980.
Okay.
So that was kind of a big year. If you remember, I think we lost John Lennon and John Bonham in that year.
That's right. So it was a big year.
Yeah.
A lot of strange happenings is what you're trying to say.
Oh, yeah. A lot of strange stuff going on.
Yeah.
So this was in Jackson, Wyoming. So definitely a lot of like wooded areas and stuff like that out there. I guess I haven't been, but that would just be my assumption. I think that's where they did what's that show everybody was watching for a little while with Kevin Costner?
Oh, I don't know.
They're kind of like cowboys. There's like a ranch or something.
No, I don't know. I never.
I'm sure I didn't either, but it got really popular. Anyways, I thought that was Wyoming, but maybe not. Yeah. Maybe it's like Montana. I don't remember the title, and I don't remember where.
Yeah, they're the same state. They're just the same place. All those Midwest. Or I guess you're getting west at that point.
Yeah.
They're all the
Oh,
same.
yeah. That's west. That's
Besides
definitely
Texas.
west. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Well, anyway, so there's two men, which I couldn't find their ages, but I want to say one thing that I read said that they were kind of young. So I'm picturing like early 20s, maybe. Um, they reported seeing a Bigfoot-like creature on Snow King Mountain.
Snow King. Okay.
Snow King Mountain early Tuesday morning. So their names Robert Goodrich and Glenn Towner.
Okay.
They not only saw a huge hairy creature that they described as 12 feet tall with long dark hair and arms. So, arms which hung almost to the ground.
Okay, gotcha.
Wow, those are pretty long arms. But I guess other people have described
Yeah.
Bigfoot kind of like that. But
Knuckle dragger.
yeah. So that's how they described it. But so here's the story. They were going to visit a friend who had built a lean-to on the mountain.
Yeah.
Do you know what a lean-to is?
It's basically like a tent that just like has one side.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Who had built a lean-to on the mountain. So they went up there, and that's when they saw a creature who was breathing heavily and making moaning growl type sounds. Does that sound kind of familiar to the movie we're gonna watch?
Yeah. Well, it definitely sounds like that for sure.
Yeah.
But that's
like a lot of heavy breathing,
right.
And like
moaning.
Moaning growl type noise. What?
Right.
I get moaning and I get growling, but what's both combined? Like I don't know what. But even then, I feel like I'm switching between a moan and a growl. How do you do them at the same time?
Well, I guess that's the thing. Do we really know? I've heard some. They just sound weird. If we're going to take the recordings we have available to us of Sasquatch noises, it definitely doesn't sound like a monkey. Some of them do, but most of them don't. Most of them sound like a wolf or it's almost like a wolf and a human mixed together, kind of howling.
Yeah, what I've heard, they kind of make a weird kind of
right.
It's just more, like a weird kind of sound.
I've heard
thing.
That. I think probably there's probably like just how there's like different species of dogs and stuff. There's probably different species of Sasquatch too that just sound different from one another. Not all dogs bark the same.
Right. You know what I don't understand though? I used to watch that Finding Bigfoot show.
Yeah.
And they would always make these Sasquatch calls. And but I had never heard a recording of a Sasquatch that sounded like the calls they were making. And they'd always be like, "Oh yeah, that's a good one." They'd always just be like, and it was like, okay, I guess that's a Sasquatch. Well, I don't know.
For a show that was Finding Bigfoot, how many seasons was that show on? Did that? I don't think they even had
5 or 6.
I don't think they had any footage whatsoever during that whole show that they ever caught.
Right. Oh, for sure. But it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
I really liked. I think was it Bobo?
Oh yeah,
the tall guy.
Yeah.
He was great. He seems like such a nice guy.
Yeah. I don't doubt that they believed it, but it's hard to make a TV show when they only show up every few decades, it seems.
Right. Yeah. I know.
So,
yeah. Okay. So back to the story.
Yeah.
So it's growling and breathing heavy at them. They also describe the creature as having a simian-like face.
What does a simian mean? Is that a monkey or
Golly, I
something?
should have looked it up. Yeah, I think that means kind of like a human face, right? Let's see.
Oh, maybe.
Simian face. What does that mean? Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. Like a monkey
Yeah.
or an ape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You're right.
Boom. I was right.
Boom. Okay, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
They said that simian-like face was the size of a stop sign.
Oh my gosh, that one's
Yeah.
huge. You think
That's
You think that
huge.
included like the fur
Probably
sticking
it had
around it,
to. It had to, but they also
like a
described it
lion's
as
mane?
yeah, but they also described it as 12 feet tall, which
That's
I feel like
huge.
is pretty huge for a Bigfoot.
Well, I mean that's
'cause-
taller than most houses. You know,
yeah, I mean 12 feet. Golly, that's huge.
I mean most houses are like anywhere between 10 to 10. Some of them are taller, but like single level houses. I mean,
Yeah.
the ceilings are usually 8 feet inside. You know, so
Right.
imagine.
He wouldn't even be able to stand up in
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeesh. And they said that he was hunchbacked.
Okay, that makes sense.
I guess.
I mean, if it's-
I
if
mean,
it-
I get.
I mean, like gorillas are sort of, they lean over, you know.
Maybe that's also why the arms were.
That's what I'm saying. They were
you know,
dragging.
almost on the ground.
They were
yeah.
dragging the ground.
Okay, but here's the thing. So they got scared when they saw it, and they ran, which makes sense.
Yep.
The crazy thing though is it followed them, which is not something you hear a lot of times.
Right.
With these Bigfoot stories. In fact, it followed them all the way into town, and they said that the last time they saw it, it was standing under a street light
What
near
the heck?
near the Ramada Snow King Inn.
Nobody was outside.
I don't know. I mean, it's probably a small town, and it was early in the morning, I guess.
Gotcha. I see. So yeah, if it was late at night or early in the morning.
Yeah, and
Maybe
still
there's nobody
dark,
there.
I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, said they went back.
They went back.
They went back. I guess maybe like once it was daylight, they went back to take
Right.
pictures. I guess they didn't find anything, and the
Right.
police reported that the two men had not been drinking. So
Oh, good. So there's some.
yeah.
So they
Yeah.
they seen something. The only thing I can think of that would follow someone like that is like mountain lions.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But most Bigfoots typically, they don't want to be seen, so they would just run away.
Right, exactly. That's what's weird about it. And can you imagine how creepy it would be to like be in a hotel and like look out and there's like a 12-foot tall Sasquatch
Especially if it's
standing
chasing people
in a street light? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, terrifying.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that would be awful.
So,
Um,
yikes.
That
I know.
so that's an
Yeah.
interesting one. That one's very untypical of the
Right.
stories you hear.
Right, exactly. I was trying to find some kind of weird ones to do here. But it does not come close to how weird this one is.
Okay.
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 Maybe some people have heard of this one. I don't know. I imagine if you're a big Sasquatch researcher and stuff, you've probably heard this story, but I don't know. I had never heard of it. Okay. So August 8th. So another summer.
Yeah.
Okay. In the heat, but this
Right.
is even earlier. 1965.
Oh wow. Okay.
And we are in what state do you think we're in this time?
Minnesota.
Whoa, close.
Oh really?
Very close. Yeah. Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Monroe, Michigan. So August 8th, 1965. And this one actually went all the way to the newspapers.
Oh, okay.
So,
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I won't start with the headline or anything like that because I don't want to
give it away.
give it away.
Okay.
But okay, there's a 17-year-old girl named Christina Van Acker or
Okay.
Acker. She's driving down the road with her mom in the car, Ruth Owens. So maybe Christina was already married. I don't know. 1965, probably 17.
Yeah, probably a good chance.
Yeah. So, anyways, they're just driving along. I can't remember. I feel like I read somewhere that it was kind of like a mountain-looking area, but maybe not. I might be making that up in my head. They're driving. This doesn't make any sense. This is August 13th, so hope you're not really into dates because this is already getting a little weird because we've got August 8th and August 13th.
Oh, okay. Weird, okay.
So, but the girl is driving.
Yeah.
As they're driving, they didn't see anything, but they felt a bump while they were driving.
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. This is starting to sound familiar.
Yeah, very familiar. So, what do you think you would do if you're driving and you think you hit something?
Oh, it would depend, I think.
Yeah.
Depend on how big the bump was.
It's really, really big. You keep going.
No, saying I'd probably stop if it was really big, but if it was smaller, I'd probably just keep going.
Oh, it feels like a squirrel or something.
Well, yeah, but if I ran over a log or something, I'd probably stop.
Right. Well, apparently it was big enough of a bump that they stopped the car immediately.
Okay. All right.
And
I know where this is going.
And they, I imagine they were kind of like, what the heck was that?
Right.
Well, they didn't have much time to think about it because before they even got out of the car, okay, Ruth Owens was grabbed
gosh.
by what she described was a 7-foot tall, shaggy black hair, 400-pound creature.
Okay. Wow.
That smelled moldy and growled like a mad dog.
That's interesting. She brings up the smell, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's a very unique characteristic to Sasquatches.
Yeah. For sure.
Is that they always stink.
Well, I think any of these creatures, the chupacabras get that a lot.
Yeah, that's
too.
true. Wonder why.
But
anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? Because they're coming from the pits of hell.
Yeah, maybe that's what. You know what?
Smell like sulfur.
That's exactly what. That's a good point.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was the description. So, at 2 different places that I read, or I'll say one said this, the other one did not. But one said that the Sasquatch punched her.
Oh my gosh. That wasn't Sasquatch. That was the guy in the suit.
Punched her, okay? And hold on a second. Okay, no, it was the girl that was grabbed, not Ruth Owens. I'm going all over the place. Ruth Owens is the one who stated that she saw the stuff.
Yeah, I got you.
So one said that the beast punched the girl, the 17-year-old girl. The other one did not say that, but they both agree on this. They both said that the Bigfoot grabbed her by her hair and slammed her head into the car door.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, this is not a Sasquatch.
And
this is a guy dressed up. This is a murderer.
And slammed her hard enough that she passed out.
Oh my gosh.
And her mom just took off running.
I don't know what else you do at this point. If you've seen a 7-foot tall.
I guess. Yeah.
Do you try
Yeah,
to fight it?
Okay, yeah. So I found like one of the actual articles,
Oh, okay,
like,
cool.
and there's a picture of her with a black eye.
Oh my gosh.
And she's got like the big, kind of beehive kind of hairdo there, kind of like Edward Scissorhands, after he starts doing all the hair for the
Right.
ladies. Um, but apparently the sheriff, um, they put together a search party.
Oh my goodness. Did they? What? So, does it explain that? Did they go to the sheriff? Did the sheriff drive by and see him, or does it? Do you know?
Yeah, I think they went to the sheriff
Mhm.
and in Frenchtown. Let's see here. The state police were concerned. So they said, we're not treating it completely as a hoax. We're still investigating. And so they created a search party and went out looking for this Sasquatch. And the newspaper article says at least 15 persons claim to have seen the monster.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it says.
So nobody else just came out and said anything, but when they like go door to door or something and ask people, you think,
I don't know if it was that
or if it's just a search party volunteers.
Yeah, exactly. And it says here she demonstrated a black eye where she said it slugged her.
Jeez.
Her description, the girl's description, was he was all hairy and the hairs were like quills.
Interesting.
They pricked whenever I touched them.
Jeez.
So, yeah.
That's sort of different. I never heard that before. Of course,
I know.
Of course, then again, there's not very many incidents of people being attacked or being held or, usually just seen from a distance.
Right. Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? And I thought what was interesting in this newspaper too, just to put a little bit of a timestamp on there for 1965, that they were still apparently doing stuff for Kennedy's assassination.
Oh,
because
wow.
There's an article that says Oswald guns sent to Dallas for seizure.
Interesting.
So I don't know what was going on there. I guess they were still dealing with all that stuff. But
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I know.
That, I don't know. Weird things happen at the same time. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, I know.
So,
yeah. So those were some stories of some more aggressive Sasquatch.
Those are definitely aggressive. Lord have mercy, slamming her
Yeah.
head into the door.
I know. It's crazy town.
I'm telling you,
Crazy town.
This is some guy dressed up in a monkey suit who just going crazy.
He was just seeking revenge.
Yeah. I don't know. Just never hear that.
Right. No, I know. So, but yeah. So we did watch a movie, and I feel like these kind of
definitely
go into that.
Yeah.
But I guess before we get into the movie, like what's your thoughts? So your stamp on this one is what?
Questionable.
Oh, so you're on the fence.
Well, I mean, I feel like there was a lot to hide back in the 60s. So if your husband was beating you up,
Yeah.
and you got a black eye.
Your best option is a Bigfoot
No, it's not
punched me.
No, it's not the best
I
option.
stopped my car and a Bigfoot punched me.
It just I don't know. That's a good point. I guess when you're in the middle of nowhere, who's gonna say no? But she did have her mom with her, so maybe that's one.
Her mom could be in cahoots.
Yeah, I know. Or maybe they got into a fight.
Oh, maybe.
Or maybe Here's a deeper, darker secret.
Okay.
Maybe they killed someone, and they were in the fight. And they're covering up with a Bigfoot story.
Yeah, but if they did that, there's a huge search party, so they would have found a body, you know, that like.
Not necessarily.
Out of both stories, I feel like I would have rather had seen this one. Like
the first one sounds more believable, even though it sort of walked into town with them.
Right.
You know, just because, you know, nothing happened to him. There's nothing fantastical else that happened other than it followed him. You know, nobody got snatched up and brought back to a camp or anything like that. You know,
right? Yeah.
So that and there was also 2 witnesses in that story too. You know, so
I'm gonna say that I believe the punching Sasquatch more than the other one. Yeah, I'm not seeing a Sasquatch following somebody all the way into town and like standing under a street light.
Yeah, but that's the worst that happens.
And 12 feet tall, that's big. Like, I don't know. Do they even get that big?
Well, they get 8 feet tall, and then we have humans who are almost 9 feet tall. You know,
right? Like, I get maybe 10 foot, but still 12 foot.
Okay, what's the average Sasquatch?
12 foot, and he's hunched.
The average Sasquatch,
he's like hunched over.
The average Sasquatch size is like 8 to 9 feet, right?
Right.
In typical stories.
Yes.
So you're telling me there couldn't be one that's just 2 or 3 feet taller?
I mean, maybe, but we're talking about the head the size of a stop sign.
Yeah,
I mean,
but this
is no longer a Sasquatch. This is like a troll.
Maybe it was.
Which would make more sense. A hunched like troll, that follows them into town.
You just answered your own question. Maybe this wasn't a Sasquatch.
It's a troll.
No, I totally believe this one more than.
Oh no!
Punching a girl in the face and then slamming her into the side of a car.
Well, first off, the Sasquatch has no sense of being a gentleman or any kind of manners, etiquette. So he doesn't care that it's a girl.
I don't know that that's true. I don't know that that's true at all. I'm serious. How many stories have you heard of Sasquatches giving gifts to people?
I've never heard a story like that.
Really? Okay.
You've heard stories of them giving gifts?
We got one for next week then.
Okay. All right. Or the week after.
Whatever,
the week after.
Next time.
But here's the thing. They probably ran over his foot. He's mad.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And he just reacts.
They shouldn't have stopped.
He just reaches in. Yeah, he punches her. He grabs the back of her head.
Gosh,
starts honking the horn. Bah, 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 and then they. You know what they didn't mention though was like how it ended.
Right.
Like,
what happened? Like, they threw her and then it ran off or something, or that's what I'm saying.
Like,
there's a lot of missing pieces.
Right, but maybe he honked the horn with her face, and then the horn scared him, and he ran away.
Yeah, but that's just making up stuff at this point. The other story didn't make up anything. It said they ran into the Sasquatch, and then it followed them back into town, and that was it. Way more believable. Nothing fantastical.
Yeah, but when have you heard of a Sasquatch going into a populated area?
Yeah, but you said it was at night. It seen the light from the light post and said, "Oh crap, I'm in the wrong spot," and then took back off.
I don't know. I don't see a Sasquatch following somebody around.
I convinced you.
Well, I haven't convinced you of the punching.
Not even close. No, I mean, again, anything's possible. I'm just saying of believability. The first one is way more believable.
Okay. Well, okay. That being said, you're telling me the movie we watched didn't make it more believable for you?
It definitely reminded me of the movie. I will say that.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. A lot. That is interesting. So maybe they did did research some of these stories before they made that movie?
Probably not.
No, they didn't.
I
wanted to make it sound better.
Yeah, I think that was just like, like for a story that was just the most generic setup they could have had. But okay,
So yeah, get into it.
What's the movie we're talking about here?
You may say?
Yeah.
Exists.
I'm gonna pull up the IMDb, so
There you
I've
go.
got some info to go with here.
You want to give it like a little summary first, and then we'll sort of dig into it.
Yeah.
You can do it better than I could.
So the thing is, first off, if you haven't seen the movie, it's been out for a while. It's 2014. So yes, we will be talking about everything that happens in the movie. If you want to watch it, you don't want any kind of spoilers, then just tune out.
We already got your view. You've been here too long. It doesn't matter to leave.
Yeah, that makes 7 views total. So, but yeah, so it was made in 2014, and I thought this was interesting. So it is a found footage movie. So if you're not familiar with found footage movies, some examples would be probably most popular would be like Blair Witch Project or Paranormal Activity.
Right. Definitely felt more like Blair Witch to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like handheld camcorder and like somebody finds the footage and that's what you're watching. It's like, oh my goodness, this happened and we just found it, sort of thing.
And this is available on Tubi for free.
For free, Tubi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are not. Oh, it looks like on IMDb it says it's also on Freevee and Plex and Pluto and
every
Prime
other free
and Roku. I like Tubi though because I just feel like they got a lot of like UFO.
Well, it's friendly. It's friendly to independent. It's more friendly to independent filmmakers.
Yeah. So we'll come back to the found footage stuff because I have my issues with calling it found footage on this one. But
you're right, I do too. I thought the same exact thing.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so we'll probably have similar thoughts there. Yeah. But this is pretty interesting that I actually didn't realize until I watched it for a second time. I'd watched it maybe 6 or 7 months ago, and then I watched it again for this episode. Who do you think the director was?
I don't have a clue.
Well,
I didn't pay enough attention.
I'll say their name. You might not recognize their name. I didn't. It's Eduardo Sanchez. And
no, don't ring a bell.
But the reason why I bring that up is, what other found footage movie do you think he directed?
Other found footage movie. Must be something semi popular. I don't know.
It could be the one that started it all.
Blair Witch?
He directed Blair Witch Project.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I felt so much like Blair Witch then.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, it really had a lot of the same feelings you got when you watched Blair Witch.
Yeah.
To me, it did.
Not as scary.
And not as dark either. Most of the time it was daylight.
Blair Witch. Oh my goodness. That terrified me when I was a kid. I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was, I think it's probably like one of those movies. And I know we're not talking about the same movie now, but it's probably, Blair Witch is probably like one of those movies where, like when Frankenstein and the Mummy came out for the first time, the people who watched it were freaked out. Now we can watch it and have zero feelings whatsoever of any of being scared at all,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't gone back and watched it.
Blair Witch.
It just scared me too much.
No, I've definitely watched it. I mean, it's a good movie, still a fun movie to watch, but I mean, it's not. It doesn't incite the fear as it did when I was younger.
Okay. Well, maybe I should watch it again just definitely to overcome the trauma.
Right.
But it was. I will say, just to touch on Blair Witch, because I have such vivid memories of watching it when I was young. I don't know how old I was, maybe like 9 or 10 or
Right.
something
Yep.
like that.
Yeah.
My older brother had brought it home. But like, why it scared me so much was about a week before we had satellite TV, Dish,
Mm-hmm.
and we had the Sci-Fi Channel. And my brother was watching a documentary on the Blair Witch, and it was like going on about how real this whole
Yeah.
legend
Yeah.
was, and like it had all of these old, like, they looked like colonial drawings, of like a hand, coming out of the lake and pulling these kids in and stuff. And so I was certain that it was real. And then when I watched the movie, of course, I had never really seen anything like found footage before. I don't know. There might have been something like that before, but
The only thing I can think
not
of,
to that scale.
the only thing I can think of was that really controversial movie that came out in the 70s, Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, see, I never got around to that. I mean, it's on my list, but
Yeah, I mean,
I hear it's pretty graphic.
I think it's the first found footage film. It was so real. They arrested the director because they thought he really killed people.
Yeah, I thought, and there's so many rumors around that movie, but I thought they used actual like animal meat or something to make it look real.
No, according to what I understand, they killed real animals in the movie.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yikes.
But anyways, that was the first. I think that, but this was the was it? I can't remember if it was early or mid 70s. And films were just absolutely rampant of shock value.
Right? Yeah, exactly. There were no rules. Yeah,
and I think that's where the Blair
right.
Witch, obviously not as graphic as that movie would be, but I think that's the Blair Witch was definitely a shock to the system at that point, because it was a found footage and there was basically none before that,
Right. Yeah, exactly. So all I know is it terrified me and I've never gone back and watched it.
Right.
But anyways, so yes, he was the same director. So another found footage movie.
Yeah.
But this one's centered around Bigfoot. So just to give everyone a synopsis of the movie.
Yeah.
There's a group of friends, probably in their early 20s, that they're going to what this says, Texas. I didn't know it was in Texas, but
I didn't either.
They're going out to like this cabin that's their uncle's, but they don't really have permission to be there, and the cabin has basically been abandoned.
Yeah.
But on their way to the cabin, and if you still haven't seen it, this happens like really early in the movie, like the first like 5 minutes.
Right.
Like they're driving there at night and they hit a Sasquatch. What you kind of gather is that it was probably a baby Sasquatch, and so they end up out there. They get stuck because their vehicle gets trashed by the mama Sasquatch, who then decides to terrorize them and try to kill them all for killing her baby Sasquatch. So
simple story, but
but
brutality in between.
Right, exactly. So, and I'll say, the first time I watched it literally right after I watched Willow Creek, which maybe we'll talk about that at some point, which is a totally different vibe, found footage Sasquatch movie. So when I watched this, I didn't like it at all. I was like, this is horrible. But when I rewatched it, knowing what to expect, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit more than I did the first time.
Right.
What was your take on just watching it?
I went into it expecting it to be basically what it was, sort of a campy horror. I don't want to say slasher, but it kind of was slasher-esque.
Right. Yeah.
Even though it wasn't a person per se.
Right.
So I went into it with that vibe, knowing that, that's kind of most of the movies on, especially on Tubi,
Right.
had this same type of feeling. So I went into that with that vibe. So going into it, not expecting a, Academy Award winning film,
Right.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun to watch. I thought,
Yeah.
of course, there's some parts where you throw your hands up and you're like, why? Yeah.
Like, what? Are you serious?
And but I think that sort of adds to the fun of it,
Right.
when those things like that happen.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to compare it to a James Cameron film or something, or a Wes Craven
Right.
film, or what's the John Carpenter film or something like that,
Right.
then it's not going to compare. But if I just say, was this a fun movie to watch? It's A+. A+ fun
Yeah.
movie to watch.
Yeah, I really liked it. And one thing that really surprised me upon second watching was like the acting was actually pretty good in this movie. Like, what was your take on that?
There were some spots, but you know what? To be completely honest with you, I didn't question it that much throughout the movie.
Right. Yeah, it felt like they were being normal.
I'm really picky. I'm a really picky critic of acting.
Yeah.
And so when it's something seems off, I'm pointing it out. I'm like, oh, that sounded stupid, or why did he do that?
Right.
But I didn't get that completely. There were some areas, I think.
Yeah, there were spots where but I think that was due more to the writing than the acting.
I think you're right. But I really think in these found footage movies, you can kind of get around it a lot, because I bet a lot of it was ad-libbed,
right,
as it was happening, compared to somebody trying to memorize a script and all that kind of stuff. I think you got to find a good group of people who can work well with each other, and I think they did that.
Yeah. Well, what's your thoughts on the filmmaking part? Like, say the camera work, saying that it's found footage and all of that. What'd you think about that?
Well, there were parts where it was found footage, and there were parts where it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem I had. Like, if you're gonna do it, then go all in. But
but I'll be honest with you, I don't think I could have handled it, because I feel like the found footage camera work was not that great.
Yeah. Right.
So I was glad when there was an escape from the found footage camera work, and just had some still or softer images.
Yeah, I think when they had stuff in there that wasn't found footage, they still kind of tried to make it look like found footage, and that was the problem I had. It's like, okay, this is obviously not like
I understand where you're coming from, but I think for my eyes and for my just sensibility, or whatever you want to call it, I was happy when it wasn't found footage, because I felt like the found footage was too shaky.
Yeah. Well, I like found footage movies.
Yeah.
I really do. Like I love Cloverfield. I know some people don't like it at all. I really like it.
Yeah.
But what was different to me was, like, in Cloverfield, it was literally like you had picked up the camera, rewound the tape, and started playing from start to finish. Right. This one was so edited and like back and forth that it's like, okay, obviously I didn't just pick up this camera and watch this footage. Like, somebody has put it together in like a story form. Yeah. Which is okay, but
I'll be honest with you, I thought that they weren't going to show the monster at the end. I thought the whole movie was going to be a black figure, because that's the way it felt for most of the movie. That it wasn't going to show.
I felt like they showed him quite a bit.
They did show a figure, but you never saw it.
Well, you're not going to like Willow Creek.
Oh.
I mean, I don't think they show anything at all ever in the whole movie, which is disappointing. When you watch a movie like that, you want to see it.
It just depends on how the movie is. It could treat it real well, or it could. I felt like if I wouldn't have seen it in this movie, I would have been very disappointed. You know,
Right. The thing is, I was disappointed at the end of Willow Creek. I can't wait till you watch that one because
Okay.
I've got a
Yeah.
lot of thoughts on that one. But
So
yeah,
how about the story in general, like the
Yes.
unfolding of the story, this movie?
Yeah, I thought story was fine. I was okay with that. I was okay with the Matt guy kind of still being alive and they find him in the den and
Right.
all that stuff. I was okay with all that. What I thought was getting a little weird and hokey was the ending where it's like they all get drug
Well,
out to the
before we
graveyard thing.
before we get to the ending, how did you like
Okay.
the scene where he pushes the camper off the side of the
Yeah.
hill, and then top it all off, she jumps off the side of the mountain
I
and
know that
lands
was so ridiculous. Like they're looking up, and then he just, or she, it's just
Yeah.
like shoo, boom,
Yeah.
and like lands like like Thor.
that was like my
or
favorite part
something.
of the movie.
And then like he like runs out the side of the camper, and
Right.
she's chasing him or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Well, what'd you think about the bicycle scene?
I thought that was kind of an interesting scene, you know, sort of like her way of saying your friend's dead, you know.
No. When he's riding the bike.
Oh, I don't know if I remember that.
Yeah, he's like riding the bike, and the Sasquatch is like running
I'm
next
sorry.
to the bike.
I thought you meant
like,
the Sasquatch.
full throttle.
I thought you meant the Sasquatch was riding the bike. No, I get
No,
that.
I wish that would be great.
I thought that's what you were going. I was like, I don't remember that part at all.
No, that one really takes me out of it the most.
Yeah.
Because like up until then, it feels like found footage,
Yeah.
and then right then it's like,
Definitely not
okay,
found footage.
he's got a GoPro on his helmet, and that's it. But somehow we're getting a shot of like the side
yeah.
of like the Sasquatch, like,
you're
like
saying.
running really
I see
fast.
what you're saying now. Yeah. But
Yeah.
and yeah, and Uncle Bob, was that his name?
Yeah, I think so.
Uncle Bob
Yeah.
shows up for 3 seconds of the whole movie.
Yeah, right.
But no, I honestly, you know, we could nitpick it
Right,
to pieces.
yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah.
It was a cool movie. I would watch it again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it was good. It was
Yeah.
good. How about this though? The ending where the Sasquatch has killed everybody
Yeah.
is standing there. He decides to put the gun down, and the Sasquatch also decides to call a truce, and they go their separate ways.
Which it also doesn't.
What's that all about?
Well, that also leads it away from that found footage, if you're going to be technical with the word,
yeah,
because he survives, you know. So obviously he goes back and you know, it wasn't like they found the cameras in the Sasquatch pit or something, you know.
right. Yeah.
If I'm going to be nitpicky about found footage, but I thought it was stupid. I thought that was the dumbest
ending
part of
was
the movie.
stupid.
I thought that was the dumbest part of the movie. I was like, there's no reason why she would do that.
And there's no
all.
reason why he wouldn't just shoot.
Because obviously she was going to kill them whether they had a gun or not. So it was almost like because he put the gun down, she was like, oh, okay.
Right.
He's
That doesn't
learned
make
his
any
lesson.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
He already he already killed her baby. So
Right.
like, yeah, I think it just goes to whenever you make a Sasquatch movie, it's like people are like, ever since Harry and the Hendersons, which
Yeah.
great film, but ever since then, people have a soft spot in their heart for Bigfoot.
Sasquatch,
And
yeah.
it's like you almost can't kill them because you're
Right.
like, well, it's just a peaceful creature, and she
Right.
was just mad because of her baby, and so let's just part ways, you know.
Well, she was just so brutal the whole time, you know?
Yeah,
And then it was like, okay,
yeah,
let me walk away. Like it made zero sense whatsoever. I was really like, what I was expecting to happen was like, you know, a big swipe from Bigfoot and then the camera goes black. You know, that's what I was kind of expecting. But
yeah, and they could have done something
Yeah.
like that, but just in like a different way,
Right.
Or they could have left it unanswered, right? They could have he could have shot the gun and the camera goes black, so we don't know
that would have been a way better
if he
ending.
actually kills her
Right.
or something.
Yeah,
Like
that
we don't
would've-
know what the ending is.
Yeah, that would have been way better than what we got.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
but anyways, I mean, I guess we weren't the ones making it, and he wrote it and got the money and made it. So
Yeah,
that's the
but
way.
I can be critical. I can be critical of a movie.
Yeah,
I'm the watcher, you know.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's easy. It's easy for people who are in the entertainment business, especially people who like us who want to be famous or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm being funny, but
Yeah.
I'm saying it's easy for us to be like, well, they're trying, so
Right.
they're doing better than what I'm doing, which is not making
Right.
movies.
Right. Yeah.
But in reality, we're the critic, we're the watcher.
Right. They made it for us, right?
Yeah, exactly right. They didn't make it for them; they made it for us,
right,
to enjoy. So I enjoyed it. That's the thing. I enjoyed it.
I did too. I enjoyed it. This is not specifically just for this movie, but whenever they make these Bigfoot movies, it's so hard for me to be scared
Yeah.
of Bigfoot. And I could not put my finger on why that is until when I was watching this, I thought, you know what? They need to make their faces kind of distorted
Mhm.
and creepy, weird looking. They
Yeah.
make them look too much like ape,
Too
human
this
kind of
this
thing.
one was too human to me, for me.
Yeah. I think if they made him look kind of like a distorted, mangled kind
Yeah.
of face, it would give it a scarier, ooh, I don't want that thing to be near me at all.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, they just haven't perfected the face. I think you're right. I think the face is a big deal. If
right.
they
It's just
need to-
not scary.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, in real life, would it be scary? Absolutely.
Right.
But in a movie, it just doesn't scare me.
Yeah, we also don't know what they look like either. Nobody
Right.
really just has a picture of an up close Bigfoot face.
Right. Yeah, we've got drawings and stuff,
Yeah.
but you're right. Yeah. Well,
Right.
and it's Hollywood. It doesn't have to be scientific. It just has
That's
to
true.
be
I'm just
scary.
saying. I'm just saying we don't know how we can work off of making King Kong look scary or something like that because we know what a gorilla's
Right.
face looks like. But
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
what do you say? What's your how many?
oh yeah. What should we rate it by out of 10 or
Yeah,
out of 5 or
we need
maybe
to make
5?
up. We need to make
maybe
up
out
a.
of 5
We need to make up a rating system. How many?
footprints or something.
Yeah, how many Bigfoot footprints do you give this movie? Out of 5.
Out of 5.
Yeah.
I would give this one. I'm going to give it 4.
4.
Well, we're not talking about just all movies in general,
Right.
right? We're talking about specifically Bigfoot, UFO.
I
style
think we
movies.
should base this off how we enjoyed the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
and I think it was fairly well done compared to a lot of other
Yeah.
ones that I've seen. So
Right.
okay, how about this? 3.5.
That's what I was going to give it. 3.5.
Yeah. 3.5.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
3.5. So
Boom.
yeah, 3.5 footprints.
Or 3.5 toes.
No, 3.5
Footprints. You will do footprints.
Well, I don't care, but toes just sounds weird to me.
All right, 3.5 footprints.
All right, we're at the end of the show here, Zach.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks.
Tune into Pirate Flag Radio, WPFR, every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock
Eastern.
Central, and then 9 o'clock p.m. on YouTube and Spotify. Wednesday.
Yes. Yeah. And please reach out to us, send us comments, follow us, like us. The big thing is we would love to get emails from you.
Yeah, give them
I'll
the
give
email.
you the email is backyardphenomena with an A at the end, backyardphenomenapodcast at gmail.com. We really would love to hear if you've got some weird stories, like maybe ghost encounters or Bigfoot or aliens or just like weird things. Yeah, weird disappearances or things like that.
Mysteries would be cool too.
we would love to hear your stories, and we'd love to feature them on the show. So please reach out. Again, that's backyardphenomenapodcast at gmail.com. And thank you guys for listening.
Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see ya.